hands-on. I know this is the hardest thing for you guys unless you're doing it on your own job, right? But maybe this is communication among you guys saying, hey, by the way, reach out, shoot everybody an email and just say, hey, I'm making a big pour today. Who could make it? More than likely, we can't justify that time away from your projects as a superintendent to go watch somebody else's job, right, guys? But I know the company expects some type of hands-on, and if you don't get it before your own job, that's when you're getting it, right? You guys got any questions about slab on grade? So they're going to go into slab on void, but let's talk about vapor barrier. So most of our jobs are calling for vapor barrier, right? And that's because of the emissions of moisture that ruins the mastic, that ruins the floor, and voids a warranty from the flooring company, but not from the general contractor. And we usually get stuck eating it, right? And trying to evaluate is it an insurance claim or not. So, and I can guarantee you that 90% of us in this company is putting vapor barrier in wrong. Because Stego and everybody that supplies vapor barrier has a termination bar. So we roll it up and take it up the edge and we put expansion joint over it, right? But there's a termination bar that actually goes along the wall and is installed separately, almost like anywhere from a 1/2 inch to an 1.5 inch threshold type little bar between tile and carpet, right? We've all seen that half moon. So it has a termination bar and it attaches a certain way. So every time you penetrate the foundation, you create a spot for water seepage. If that isn't sealed along the wall, then that moisture is coming up the walls, right? So really it's your wall deal. We've only had a couple of those jobs that we've been forced to put the vapor barrier or the termination bar on, but it's spendy. So it's something to pay attention on your job when you're going through the specs. And if it's a question we need to ask, sometimes we've been able to get away and use the Stego tape and tape it to the concrete foundation and called that a termination bar. But when it's just laying there and it's not done, it wrinkles, it folds, and it creates voids underneath. It's something in the industry that as we get less knowledge in the field from craft workers, the industry is getting more knowledgeable about how to place stuff and cover their rear end, right? And that's what all manufacturers do. Read the bucket. If it ain't done like this, no warranty. Slab on void, same thing with soils report we went through before. Usually going to be a bad soil situation. What they're, so out at St. Vrain, that was slab on void with structural piers and drop beams. And then once that got done, we had to go saw cut and put in a bunch of helical piers because the structure that they designed didn't support the structural slab at this distance. So we went in and saw cut the floor, right? And drilled in helical piers and had to replace it. And that was all polished dyed floor as well. But what we're seeing more of is like what Centennial is and what Holy Family was, is that they're coming up so high, 4 to 6 feet, and it's all steel off of caissons, and then you're pouring your first slab on grade is actually slab on metal deck. And the only thing that goes slab on grade is going to be your sidewalks, nothing else. Yeah, basically all soils reports, who's doing it, et cetera, et cetera. Kind of gives you areas. It's kind of like aggregates. There's different regions. Northeast is really sandy. Here we're really clayish, right? You get into Fort Collins, you got some good dirt, you got some expansive soils, and we go into the mountains, we're all on rock, right? Understand the recommendations that the architect and engineer, I know we all do that well, because sometimes we're going to hold them accountable for how they designed it and not change it on us way through the project, right? And one more thing about void is what you need to pay attention to is typically we catch it in pre-con, but there's three types. So you can get the cardboard void, and there's 2 or 3 manufacturers. Then you can get a plastic enclosed cardboard, right? It already comes like with the Ziploc baggie on it, pre-shrunk. But depending on how you handle it, rebar on the job, you rip that. He had a bad experience over at, what was the name of that, John?
Our Lady of Loretta.
Yeah, Our Lady of Loretta. We bid in storm void. The concrete super at the time put in regular void. We were raining every other day, and he had to tear out all of his rebar and over half of the slab and pull it all out like toilet paper So that's what it turns into by hand, and then dry out the subgrade and redo that. And it probably was a 2 to 3 week delay on the job, just by saving like 70 cents a lineal foot of void. So that's something to keep in mind: is your weather. How long is that slab going to be exposed before you actually place it and finish it, right?